bir champion.
He truly is doing it for more than just the punches, kicks, knees, and elbows and being the UFC champ and the glitz and glam. He's got something deeper.
Man, when these Russian dudes from these regions start to come, it's going to be a problem.
Wrestling, I have shank, I have better than him. He have striking, I have better than him. He have grapple.
Welcome to the channel. Today we embark on a deep exploration of greatness, a journey through the Octagon, tracing the path of one of the world's most skilled grapplers, a fighter whose submission wins have stunned both fans and analysts, Islam Makhachev. Whether you're a martial artist, an MMA aficionado, or simply fascinated by the art of combat, this video pulls you into every UFC submission win of Islam Makhachev, detailing the stories, techniques, and milestones that define his legacy. Leo Kuntz, UFC 187. The first chapter of Islam's submission saga began on May 23, 2015, at UFC 187. He faced Leo Kuntz, a solid grappler in his own right, making Islam's debut anything but a guarantee. What followed set the tone for his UFC journey. Islam controlled the exchanges, dictating the rhythm with his wrestling and constantly advancing position. In round 2, he won the scramble, quickly taking Kuntz's back. In an almost inevitable moment, Islam deftly slipped his left arm under the chin, locked in a rear naked choke, and flattened Kuntz out. The pressure, both physical and psychological, left Kuntz with nowhere to go. Tap. At just over halfway through the second round, Islam had announced himself to the lightweight division with dominance, skill, and calm. For many, this might have been the career high point, but for Islam, it was merely the prologue. Kajan Johnson, UFC on Fox. Alvarez versus Poirier 2. Islam's journey to greater submission and success took persistence. Months became years, and on July 28, 2018, he returned to the finish column against Kajan Johnson. By now, fans were familiar with his reputation, but Johnson was a seasoned veteran with underrated submission defense. Islam, undeterred, took the initiative. He shot a double leg with flawless technique, seamlessly passed guard, and methodically moved into mount. Each movement a deliberate step closer to victory. From mount, with surgical patience, he isolated Johnson's arm. The sequence was textbook. Makhachev swung his leg high, locked up a tight armbar, and, with a controlled extension, left his opponent no option. Johnson conceded at 4:43 of the opening round. For Islam, this wasn't just a win. It was a message that his ground game extended far beyond wrestling control. He was a threat from every dominant position. Drew Dober, UFC 259. After decision wins and continued evolution, March 6, 2021, marked a pivotal point as Islam faced Drew Dober at UFC 259. Dober boasted experience and grappling ability, but Islam's pressure was suffocating. Round after round, the Russian controlled with unyielding top pressure, constantly canceling Dober's attempts to escape or scramble. By round 3, fatigue set in. Islam advanced to half guard, crossed Dober's arm, and began setting up the arm triangle choke, a technique that demands both precision and immense upper body force. As Islam shifted his weight and applied his signature squeeze, Dober realized there was no route to safety. At 1:37 of the third round, Dober tapped, impressed by the blend of patience and tactical execution. It was a finish that echoed throughout the division. Even respected grapplers would struggle to withstand Islam's ground game. Thiago Moises, UFC on ESPN, Makhachev versus Moises. The summer of 2021 brought new challenges. On July 17th, Islam headlined UFC on ESPN opposite Thiago Moises, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt who many believed could test Islam's submission defense. The anticipation was palpable. Would the Dagestani's top pressure be enough against a skilled submission artist? 4 rounds in, Islam had dictated every exchange, imposing his will with takedowns and positional control. Yet victory was not enough. Islam sought the finish. Late in round 4, he took Moises's back with precise timing, using wrist control and hip pressure to flatten him out. The rear naked choke materialized. Islam's arms snaked into place, and Moises, for all his credentials, found no escape. Tap. The clock read 2:38. The technique, flawless. The statement was clear. Makhachev didn't just avoid danger from submission artists. He made them victims. Dan Hooker, UFC 267. With each victory, fans waited for the next evolution. October 30th, 2021, UFC 267 in Abu Dhabi delivered exactly that. Standing across from Islam was Dan Hooker, a dangerous striker with notorious toughness and sound submission defense. Within the opening moments, Islam orchestrated a high-level takedown, immediately pushing to a dominant top position. But rather than methodically advance, this time he attacked opportunistically. Spotting Hooker's exposed right arm, Islam locked in a Kimura, a submission more known for animalistic torque than elaborate setup. Despite Hooker's attempts to fight the grip, the pressure was unrelenting. Within seconds, Hooker made the smart choice, tapping at 225 of round 1, rather than risk a catastrophic shoulder injury. It was both clinical and violent, a microcosm of Islam's threat level. Charles Oliveira, UFC 280. The level of competition grew with each win. By October 22, 2022, at UFC 280, Islam met one of the greatest submission grapplers in MMA history, Charles Oliveira, for the lightweight belt. Oliveira entered the cage with a record for the most submissions in UFC history, an opponent many saw as Islam's toughest possible test. The fight was tense from the first exchange. At one point, after a surgical punch, Islam dropped Oliveira and immediately passed into a dominant position. The crowd watched as he set up an arm triangle choke. Oliveira, despite every ounce of technical savvy, seemed unable to answer. The squeeze, supported by years of grappling experience and iron discipline, proved insurmountable. Oliveira tapped at 3:16 of round 2. With this victory, Islam claimed the title and announced a new era, carving his name onto a legacy built not just on force, but on submission mastery. Dustin Poirier, UFC 302. June 1st, 2024, brought Islam's next test, a title defense against Dustin Poirier at UFC 302. Poirier was well known for his own submission victories and survival against submission specialists, but Islam was operating at another level. After a hard-fought battle that tested both men's cardiovascular limits, Islam shifted gears in the 5th round. Quickly, he maneuvered into a front headlock, caught Poirier's arm with intent, and transitioned directly into a Bravo choke, a submission that, while rare at MMA's highest levels, perfectly suited Islam's combination of reach, strength, and finesse. The finish was swift, the result unmistakable. Poirier tapped at 2:42 of the final round, making it clear that even the most experienced veterans could be caught in Islam's ever-evolving trap. Renato Moicano, UFC 311. The most recent triumph, as of January 18, 2025, unfolded at UFC 311 against Renato Moicano. Moicano, another respected submission specialist, came prepared for Makhachev's game, but once again, Islam's relentless transitions, seamless guard passing, and constant threat wore down his opponent. The fight had barely moved past the first minute. Islam established control and, midway through the first round, seized the opportunity. He locked in a Bravo choke, his trusted and increasingly feared weapon, applying perfect technique and torque. After a brief but decisive struggle, Moicano was forced to tap at 4:05 of round 1. This win not only extended Islam's streak, but exemplified his ability to finish elite grapplers early with evolving tools. Each entry on Makhachev's Submission Resume is more than a fight. It's an episode in the evolution of MMA grappling. Through flawless control, technical innovation, constant adaptation, and the mental mastery that only the greatest display, Islam Makhachev stands as one of the finest submission finishers of his generation. As we look ahead, there's a looming question. Who in the lightweight division, now or even in the foreseeable future, can survive, let alone defeat, the relentless, adaptive storm that is Islam Makhachev? So, what was your favorite submission victory? Do you see any current or upcoming fighter who might solve his ground puzzle? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this exploration into the mind and mastery of an Octagon artist, be sure to subscribe for more deep dive MMA breakdowns. Thanks for watching. Keep training your mind, keep asking questions, and see you for the next breakdown.